Okay, guys, welcome to another topic. We'll be treating CSS styling on the forms, that's CSS forms. So I think I have something. We have a form that will be styling CSS forms. It's HTML. Don't know if I still have this. Okay, and this is the form that will be styling here. I just copied it out from previous one. So let's see. I think I'm in the desktop. Let's open it up here to look at it in the browser. Codealong, and then CSS test, CSS forms. And this is the form that will be styling. So let's open up our style, and then let's start the container that's holding the form first. For the container, we'll be giving a background color using the gray. So, and a border radius of 5 pixels. And I also want the container to be centered, so I'll be giving it a margin auto and a width of 80%. Okay, so you can see it's centered, and we now have a curved container. So for our form, I'll be doing a text CSS. I'm adding a H1 here. H1 CSS form styling. Okay, so I want to make it to be centered. H1 text line should be centered. Okay, and then a margin top, so that it should move up. Margin top. Margin. Maybe the margin order also 10 pixels. Let's see. Okay, I think this is good. Then let's add a padding top. And top should also be 20 pixels. Okay. Then let's continue with the styling of our form. For all the input type of text and the select, we'll be giving it a display of inline block in order to make it to be in a horizontal, in order to separate each of the inputs to be in its own horizontal row. So inputs, we'll be using the attribute selector, CSS attribute selector, type of text, and also the select. We'll be giving it a display of inline block. Input type of text and select. display of inline block, and the width of 50%, 50 pixels. 50% is so small. Let's use a percentage. Seems like the percentage is too stupid. Oh, sorry. Okay, so I have a input type of text and email. So I'll also be giving the input type of email and also input type of password. Password and submit password. So let's leave the submit for now. Let's see. Okay, so you can see that. Here. Let's give it a 100%. 100%. Yes. 80% will also be good because our width is now 80%, so 80% will be good. So so we move down the remember me so that it won't be encroaching within here. And let's add a padding within. We'll be adding a padding of 12 pixels by 24 pixels. Let's see if we could make this form to be at the center. I don't really know why it's staying at the extreme end. Form. Our form will now be the same thing we did here. Margin and then. So we'll also be reducing margin auto, and this should be fill. This should also be 70. See, okay, so it's now centered. Let's see what 80 will be. So I only wanted it to move from where it was. We'll eventually remove the width. Just leave it that way, and let's add a margin left, or just a margin auto, and then let's give it a right and left and bottom. Should be 20 pixels. Okay. Let me use a percentage here since we used 20%. So it's applying the margin here, and here. So okay, all right. Let's give it the margin left. Let's be specific. Give it a margin left of 20 pixels, and also okay. Let's be more specific. Margin left, margin top of 0, margin right of 20, and then margin bottom of 0, and margin left of 20%. Okay. Let's see. Okay, that's it. Yeah. So our form is now centered, and we will also be adding a label. So each of the inputs, the label is used to add a caption. So the label for this should be name, and the label for the email should be email. The label for the password. Then for the city. And then for the checkbox. For the checkbox, we'll be using a label here and not a span. Then for this, we'll also be using a label. Then let's see how it is. Okay, so we want our label to be a block. So label. So you can see it now. Our label is now in a block format, in a display of block. So which means it will move everything down or up. Or specifically, we'll be giving there are some labels that I don't want to go down. So I don't really want it to go down. So for the remember me, I think I'll be giving a class to each of the label. Let me do that quickly. The label should have a class of block, so that I'll be able to style that class block. I'll be removing this. I won't be needing it here. So it will now be that block. Yeah, that's it. So I'll bring up this gender to be up here before they remember me. So also the input type of radio with name, with ID of female. Let's add a block tag to it. Female. What's happening? Female. P-tag checkbox. Okay. Select your gender. I think we'll be having a label here. I wanted to have a label here. Label for male. And also a label here for the female. Okay, so guys, for the seems like we have to fix the remember me. The remember me will be actually this label should enclose the input here. So this is how it's supposed to be. So I'll be able to also give this a block, a class of block, to be able to pull it down. Okay, so you can see. Then we'll be adding a margin to all of them. So how do you add a margin? Type, input type password, and the margin button. Margin button top should be 8 pixel, so 0. See that? Okay. So it's not that bad. 10 pixels. Then for our radio, seems like we're styling our radio and differently. If our select the type of radio, and also type of submits, type of submit. Oops, I didn't close this in the attribute selector. Then also have a type of checkbox. Type auto checkbox. So we only add a margin here. Okay. Then let's give a space here. The spaces here should be padding left, padding left. So for the input, we'll be having a padding left 5 pixels. So what we are giving this padding left is the label. So let me see. We'll actually be giving it's actually going to be okay. So let's use this. Let's use for this is an inline style padding left will be 5 pixels. Okay, sorry, because we are already having this label here, we use a non-breaking space. CSS has a tag called non-breaking space, NBSP. So add a space here, and then for these ones we'll be giving it a margin left. So let's add 5 pixels. Okay, so I think this is nice now. So for our forms, we'll be giving it a border reduce to make it a little bit curved. Let's give it a 5 pixel. So you can see it's now being curved. Then for our there's a pseudo selector called a hover. We saw it when we looked at links. We also have a focus. Focus is when you tap on the input. What will happen whenever you tap on the input? That means it's focused. So we're looking at the focus and also the hover on the submit. So let's type our submit button. Type. I'm going to be needing this here. Let's see if it's doing anything. Let's add it back. But our submit button, let's have a color of green. Go to submit. Let's have the background color. Background color of green, light green. Let's choose this. See this again, and then it won't have any margin. Border. There'll be no border. Border should be none. Okay, and then adding a padding within it. The padding should be 20 pixels for all. $15 pixels. Then let's make it center text line center. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. So we'll be adding a hover on. You see our form looks nice and clean here. So we'll be adding an on hover to this button. We're having a cursor so that whenever you hover over it, it will show you a hand. For now, it's just showing a pointer. Or when I refresh, it have the crosshair. So I'll also be adding a type submit for hover. So whenever you hover over the button, it's going to change the background color. Also be adding a RGB 75 237 and 80. So what color should that be? So let's add a dark green and refresh. So you can see whenever I hover, it shows the background color of dark green. Then we also have another one that on focus. So we'll be adding it to our input type text and email, and also select. So let's put it here and then style it for on focus. So whenever we click on any of the input text, email, or password, focus, or let's just say for all the inputs, whenever it's focused, it will save our time here. Input whenever it's focused. Let's give it let it remove the border. None. And we could change the border now. So we have the border now. Whenever I let's start out. Looks like it's not showing, so input focus. Let's try it on one and see what's really wrong. Type is equal to text focus border none. So this is our text. Why is this showing a border? Let me see why it's showing the border. Why it's still showing the border here. So remove this border and let's add a background color. Let me be sure if I'm still targeting that. Background color should be orange. Okay, I'm targeting this. Oh, why is it not showing? Why is it not removing the background? Okay. So we can see that it's the focus. Whenever we click on it, come out of it, whenever I tap into it, it shows the focus property. So another thing I want to do is to remove the border and give it a border bottom only. So border bottom. Sorry. Border bottom should be one piece. So only. Why is it still showing? Okay, so I'll be removing I want to remove the border and give it a color of white border. On set. Okay. So whenever we tap on it, the border will show up. And I think that's it, guys. That's much that we're going. You can also add a padding to your gender and also to your remember me. I think that will be a good try. So you can try it on your own and see how that works out for you. Thanks, guys, for tuning in.